Hello, Ryan Garland. I am your host of the Paradyme Shift. I cannot wait to expose the true inner depths of institutional wealth building and how to dig deep into real estate investing. Hey everybody, welcome to Paradyme Shift. Today, I'm honored to have Scott Ward. I'm going to get right to it, but Scott Ward is actually with Mountain Desert Development. And I've had the honor to get to know him and his wife and his daughter, and they're just the sweetest people. And they came in to support the gym, which we are sitting at our headquarters building and the gym, Family Office Society, right now. And I just want to introduce you to him. I had a couple of weekends we spent some time together, and he's just an amazing human being. And I think for me, we have such a large audience on our podcast platform that I really want to highlight people that I believe deserve it, but also, want you to get to know who he is and his backstory and kind of what his pedigree is. Because I think he's got a niche that most people have not seen in Lake Havasu, but his caliber of development, because he's actually a builder, but his caliber of development is so amazing that I've walked into some of his houses recently and I'm like floored that this even exists in Lake Havasu. And he's so humble and he doesn't get on camera. So I figured, you know what, I'm going to drag him out, get him on the podcast and highlight this guy's, because, I'm also the same type of guy. I want to just, have something to share with my kids down the road. And
Thanks,
I know
man.
That's where you are. So if I can take this video and cut it and share it with your kids, that's it. We'll do it right here.
That'd be cool, man.
So Scott, thanks for joining me today, buddy.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Of course. So we'll kind of dive right in. Let's talk a little bit about your background. And, when you were telling me, you were in, Park City in Utah and kind of how would you go from Oregon to Utah and then here?
Yeah. So, grew up in Oregon in the Pacific Northwest and, then moved to my family. Actually, we went skiing in Park City, Utah, my senior year of high school. And
Park City's amazing.
About 6 months after that ski trip, my parents literally came to me and said, "Hey, we're moving to Park City." And I'm like, "Okay." Well, I was graduating high school, and or I'd graduated high school, and so I was like, "Well, you move where your family moves, right?" I wasn't ready to kind of fly the coop, so. Moved to Park City, ended up getting just a summer job kind of to, fill the time before going to what I thought was going to be college. And anyway, started with a construction company that I had no idea at the time the value of the job I took. It was an ad in the Park Record paper for a painter's helper.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, whatever. So
I help paint, no problem.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. I never held a paintbrush. I never taped off anything. I started off as a construction laborer for this company. Anyway, the company was Park City Engineering, and the principal owner was Matt Price, and he had 12 key guys that worked underneath him. And they officiated the construction from start to finish in-house. And he was the architect and the engineer.
Oh, wow.
And then they did nothing but spec homes. And these 12 guys, literally from excavation all the way to finished carpentry, the mechanical and things like that, they subcontracted out. But so my experience was just starting in with this company, and I fell in love with it.
Yeah. Everything's in-house.
It was in-house. I just saw an opportunity like, man, I'm going to learn so much. I mean, obviously you start in the trenches doing everything nobody wants to do, but I stuck it out, gained a lot of respect from the guys that had, that were above me. And I just learned every opportunity I could to just like watch and learn and observe. Even if I was sweeping the floor, I'm like watching the tile guy, set tile or electrician make up an outlet or whatever. That's just cool. Trying to go, okay, I'm going to need to know this stuff eventually. So quickly escalated through that and worked for that company for 5 years, got my own general contractor's license, literally learned how to run and build a construction business from the ground up, meaning I can lay out a foundation, I can cut a roof, I can, answer any framing question that comes up from a framer. And I think that's a valuable thing in a general contractor. Today, a lot of people go and just take a class and get their license and then just call subs. And, your subs could easily manipulate you if you don't know what you know, right? So
in Havasu that happens, or at all?
At all, right? Yeah. So it's like, oh, no, it's supposed to be that way, and it's like, no, I don't think it is supposed to be that way. We're going to do it this way. So, spent 10 years in Park City, building high-end luxury custom homes. That's all I've ever done. And then got married. My wife and I moved to Lake Havasu in our early 30s. Didn't think we were going to be here this long. We've been here 24 years, and it's been a great run. We've built some amazing projects in Lake Havasu all over town. We just, came down here and came across the refuge, which was at the time.
That was a big deal.
It was a big deal. Mm-hmm. It was huge for our community here and the Arnold Palmer Signature Golf Course. And obviously with 06, 07, that all fell apart. But the community's still a great community. Probably built 45 homes in that neighborhood.
Wow. Yeah.
And just really made a name for ourselves in Lake Havasu doing that. And then we're out in the new Riviera community of Lake Havasu.
And that's what I really want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
It's just, not only your background, because I think that kind of paints the color of like who you are now, know, because again, going into the houses that you've built, what was it, yesterday? Was it yesterday we went? No, it was yesterday or the day before.
Yesterday we were out there.
Yeah. And just going and seeing all the new development out there in the Riviera. I'm kind of on a different scale, meaning I'm kind of doing, mass production, more attainable, affordable type stuff. And I think the Barn Caves is a little bit more on the luxury space, but I've always looked at things a little bit differently just because I have a background in lending and then have just kind of went through the nightmare of, 2008. So when you're managing people's money, you try to be as conservative as possible.
For sure.
So I think I've looked at things from a different lens, but I've also dealt with a lot of private lending for guys in Beverly Hills, Malibu, built a lot of, helping these guys build specs and really kind of had a front row seat to what they did. And some of the stuff is the most beautiful thing. I mean, I love that part of my business.
Yeah.
And then walking the projects that we did yesterday, I was unbelievably floored about the quality of work that's here in Havasu, but then you were the guy doing it, and I'm like, I was hanging out with you on the boat and didn't know exactly how cool you were, and so I thought that was really neat. But let's talk a little bit about the Riviera, because that's like one of these things that it's such a big project in development. I think it's really changed the way people from all over the country has looked at Lake Havasu. Everyone knew Havasu as the London Bridge and, all the partying and that type of stuff, or the boat life. But I don't think people quite understand the wealth that's coming here, how, the original, founders in essence of Havasu kind of created that whole entire land play. But why don't you just share a little bit about the refuge, a little bit the background of Havasu and kind of how that all came along?
Yeah, so the Riviera was really a land acquisition that a family, the Comic family, had in their arsenal for, I believe it was back in the 80s. They took this parcel down. It was landlocked by state land, city property, and then their own development piece. The Comex have been in Lake Havasu for almost the beginning of time of Lake Havasu. They developed a number of things down along the channel early in the years. They developed the Islander RV resort, which a lot of our clients have come out of that community and built the luxury homes once they fell in love with the town.
Yep.
They developed all of Havasu Foothill Estates. And so
that's a lot of homes too.
Yes, there's a lot of homes up there. So they had this piece of property, and they didn't really know what they were going to do with it, how they were going to access it. And I'll piece this together the best I can. But so long story short, the state of Arizona felt like they needed another access to the lake. Windsor Boat Ramp runs about, believe it or not, about 750,000 vehicles through that kiosk a season.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. So there's about 750,000 people that go through there and launch, and so it just gives you an idea of the boat traffic and the importance of boating in Lake Havasu. So they felt like there just needed to be more boating access to the water.
And that's, by the way, that's just one launch ramp.
Just one
That's
launch.
Not including the marina or Site 6 or any of that. Yeah.
Right. So, with the development on the island, those access points became more and more difficult for the general public to get to. So anyway, Arizona State Park said, hey, we're going to build a launch facility out here on the south end of town. And they were talking with the city about that because the city owns 240 acres to the north of the boulevard that comes down to the Riviera Marina.
Yeah.
And the city's like, well, we'll just put the road in, down there because that's going to ultimately access our property in the future. And then the developer got wind of that and said, hey, well, holy cow, now that there's a road going in here and off the highway, that's going to access our parcels for the Riviera community. So there was this, all the stars and moons align, right? And everybody starts talking. And anyway, long story short, the developer, the Comic family, they have worked with Arizona State Parks on other projects and things like that. And they more or less said, hey, why don't you give us a 40-year ground lease on this and we'll do all the infrastructure. We'll do all the development for it. We'll control it. We'll run it. And then we'll operate it as a concession to Arizona State Parks.
That's the marina.
And that's the marina and everything involved in the marina. Well, that was just it's not part of the development of the Riviera housing, but they control it.
It's an amenity.
It's a wonderful amenity, right?
That's where I launch. It's unbelievably, it's perfect.
It's a state-of-the-art, marina for sure. And being tied to the residential side, that just was a huge selling aspect.
I agree.
So here the Riviera starts, and this is now, they went through a lot of red tape to get all that accomplished, like all developers do, but they've had incredible success. They've got, I believe, 5 neighborhoods that are completed right now, and they've got 2 more that they're finishing that will be released to the public for sale here in the next probably 6 to 9 months. And, but yeah, a total of about 550 home sites out there.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of home sites. Right now there's about 45 completed homes, all multi-million-dollar residences. And the bar just keeps getting elevated with every home build that goes out there, as it typically does.
Yeah, you built that. I think it was a 17,000 square foot house that everyone kind of talks about when you're on the water.
It's right on the water frontage, right above the marina. It's a 17,000 square foot under roof, 10,000 livable. It's got about 5,000 square feet of garage space. It's just a beautiful, beautiful home. Our architecturally, the Comex, when they were ready to get actually the vertical construction going, they came to me and they were like, man, we really want to do something special out here. And we really need a guy like you that can bring an architect and design and everything to this community. And really, we want to elevate the level of construction in Lake Havasu. So I went out and interviewed a number of architects in the Phoenix, Scottsdale market, and ultimately came across CP Druitt with Druitt Works Architecture. And he and I hit it off like we're brothers, like literally. I mean, like kind of like our relationship, right? Like we met each other and I don't know, the energy is good. It's like, dude, we're bros. So he designed my personal house out there, and then he's designed about 20 other homes for me out there. And we've, over the last 4 or 5 years, we've been building those homes. And it definitely brought a whole layer of
polish
to Lake Havasu.
Yep.
The general community of Lake Havasu still, I don't think, even knows anything about the Riviera as far as the homes and
that's
why
I wanted to bring you on, because I'm so entrenched in the development of Havasu overall, and I didn't know how serious the Riviera really was.
Yeah.
And I've driven through there a little bit. I think kind of my background of having to go through there, but I didn't know it to the level that you just showed me. And I was completely floored, especially the amount of projects that are under development now.
Yeah.
And then they're expanding all of those new lots in the back too. I mean, that was impressive. But those lake views, and I mean, I remember sitting up on the bluff with you yesterday, and I'm sitting there going like, I don't know anybody else or anywhere else you can get this type of desert lifestyle waterfront properties anywhere in the country.
It's a magical site.
I mean, now, I was talking to one of the brokers, which, as you know, he works out here, right? And I think you even teed off on it. They think it's going to be like an auction because they're not sure how high those may sell for.
Yeah,
because
that
it's
last
just the
phase,
desirability is
the last phase of the Riviera that will be released probably sometime next year. Solitude is the neighborhood, which it couldn't be more appropriately named.
Yeah.
It's just when you walk back there, you go back there. I mean, even though the dozers are running and stuff, but man, it is the most peaceful piece of ground I've ever stood on.
I would agree.
It literally it sits just above the lake. You literally can see 280 degrees. You can see to Parker all the way up to Needles. It feels like of water and.
Which is insane.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
You've got high performance boats flying at 130 miles an hour. Whatever,
and that's music to your ears.
If you like anything, if you like fast cars and fast boats, fast women, they're all right there for you.
It's nice too because you know what, it's far enough away where it's not that loud either. So if you're inside the house, you won't hear that at all. But you'll see it go right by your glass window.
I think most people that come to Lake Havasu are actually that it's almost peaceful, like that.
Yeah.
That the roar of a performance engine, running and doing.
So true.
It's super cool, right? Like they'll get up out of their chair if they're watching TV and look out like, oh, what was that? You know? So.
Well, in that part of the lake, I feel like everybody knows it. Everyone's been on that side of the lake since the beginning of time.
And
so you just see it.
There's an iconic cove that has been on MTV and back in the 80s and 90s when they used to have spring break
there's photos
parties.
on restaurants in town.
Copper
Canyon, man.
Yeah, Copper Canyon. It's iconic. And this parcel of land that's in a part of the Riviera community, the last phase of their development, literally sits right in front of that. I mean, the Copper Canyon is just directly across.
You literally just sit there and just watch boats coming in and out there all day. There's always going to be stuff going on. It's never going to be a dull moment down there.
Yeah. I mean, it's a landmark. Anybody that's ever heard about Lake Havasu, they're like, oh yeah, Copper Canyon.
Yeah, everybody knows Copper Canyon.
It's a iconic spot. So
it's such a great spot. Yeah. And then, when we took that shot, I mean, all the way down to Ghost Mine Saloon, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah. There's a new Ghost Mine Saloon, and a waterfront bar, which is a lot of those are starting to pop up around Lake Havasu, which is kind of creating that Lake of the Ozarks vibe on our lake as far as a destination boating to bars and lunch and all that stuff.
And people love that.
Oh,
because people just want to come tie up, jump up, go eat, have a couple drinks and take off. And then the other view is all the way down to Thompson's Bay.
Yeah.
Going into the channel.
Yep.
And then you can see that new project that's supposed to be built up there. Was that $1 billion project? I think that's going on up there on the island over there where the old golf course is.
Yeah, where the Nautical Inn golf course used to be. A developer out of Scottsdale purchased that about 2 or 3 years ago. He's in his due diligence and kind of planning phase with the city right now, going through all that, and all the renderings and things that I've seen of his master plan are really cool. I think it's going to be a huge asset to Lake Havasu. There's, waterfront property, another great big marina for boat, in the water boat storage on the island, another launch facility.
Right next to the Nautical.
Right next to the Nautical with, there are going to be some retail, some more density housing,
restaurants, bars.
Yeah, high-end residential, all that cool stuff. So
that's what Havasu's been yearning for.
This little town is evolving at a very fast pace right now. It's definitely transforming into, I think, what a lot of people have been wanting. There's, people that have been here for 100 years that, like anywhere, they, anti-development, but you can't stop progress.
Well, it's not a matter of if, it's when. It's going to happen. Well, the other side of it is, when you bring that type of tax revenue into a city, and the city, in my opinion, is actually pretty smart because they are going to focus on healthcare and they're going to focus on the thing that the community really needs, and I see that happening already. I'm having conversations. I'd love to try to get involved in building something, like the hospital realm at some point, or like a medical campus, especially on the north side. There's plenty of land that way. So, but to go back to the Riviera, what are the typical buyers out there? And obviously they're just buying lots. They're not buying really any homes. There's a couple specs in there, but not much.
Yeah, there's a few builders that have put up some spec homes that have been on the market for a minute. I think, the value of, or perception of value, is increasing daily as people see value being created out there. Yeah. But yeah, most of our buyers are people from California, but really there's people from all over Midwest, and they've found Lake Havasu. They come from all walks of life, from plastic surgeons to, executives to contractors and everything in between. And they buy their lot, and then, they're looking to build whatever, and the Riviera has done a good job of creating some very good design guidelines. They want to kind of keep a theme of modern desert contemporary architecture in the community. And with that being said, that, lends it to a very unique design.
Yeah.
So,
and it's cool because I think the Riviera has just been kind of that footprint for people who really do have, capital. They want to build their, kind of forever home or their second home. They've been finding, these lots are great too, just as far as views, but you kind of can't go wrong because the amount of development that's slotted to go in there.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people, especially smart ones, are going to look at it and go, I can build now. I'm going to hold my equity. The demand is still there. Why don't I build my house and build my dream house right here?
Yeah.
And you know what I love is the fact that you have that. It was funny because I did not know you were a builder at all up in Park City, but I kept bringing up the quality of builds in Park City and how I love that design.
Yeah.
Then you're like, well, yeah, I was building up in Park City. I'm like, how many people in Havasu built in Park City? Nobody, and I feel like not many people up here or in Havasu have even been to Park City to experience those type of builds or, real estate in essence, so it's like to be able to bring that caliber of development and architecture and design to Lake Havasu and then make it set up more from a desert feel is like perfect.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, I got to get you on the podcast, man. I want everyone to know you exist because that quality of work is unbelievable. I can't wait to take Joe tomorrow.
Well,
I was going to bug you and see if you can take Joe out tomorrow.
100%. We'll give him a tour for sure. Yeah. You need to see it.
And just kind of, we'll take him in the back. We'll take the Raptor back out there again. We'll
go
cruise in the back and show him those views. Yeah. And well, before he gets going home, but he's got to see that. So, what are you working on now?
So right now we have 3 custom builds. We've actually finished 12 homes out there to this point, all custom builds for individual clients, ranging from $3 million to $7 million in cost, which is funny. Let's just say 5 years ago, the most expensive home in Lake Havasu that I have built was probably about $2.5 million. So we've really changed. The Riviera has brought a dynamic that is really revolutionary to our town, and the bigger money guys are looking at our city going, man, you actually can do some cool stuff. And that's what I'm excited about, to just start sharing what we've been creating for the last couple of years. Being that they're all private residences and they're not spec houses or whatever, the general public doesn't get to see it. So we've spent some time over the last couple of months documenting the footage, taking video, and so we can get it out there and just show people that are interested in the community to come out and go, man,
this is actually being built.
Yeah, this is really happening. This is really built. For so many years of living in Havasu, it's like, you can't do that here. You can't, it will never happen here. Yeah. And I think we kind of did a mic drop on the last couple houses.
Yeah. It was a road mic too.
It was a road mic. Yeah.
It's kind of cool because I think I was telling you about one of the guys who actually came into the gym, and he's actually a rather wealthy guy. He was telling me that he wants to sell some property, and he had a stroke and he's kind of going through a lot in life, and he wants to hand over the keys to his kids, which is a very common conversation.
Sure.
And what the takeaway for me was how much he fell in love with Havasu. He's building houses for even his kids because they all have kids. They're married with grandkids, and he wants everyone close to him. And he's like, but I want to move my money here. He said that. And I was like, that's pretty impressive. Most people, when they do retire and they find a place they want to call home, they are going to move their wealth. They're going to move everything here. And our conversation kind of sparked, because he comes from kind of the same background that I do, about, putting money on deposit, and how, as more banks here, regional banks, continue to bring in more depositors, they're able to lend that money back out on SBA loans and small businesses, and, help grow the community. And that was like, what a great conversation that was.
Huge.
Because he's like, I've worked really, really hard, but like my whole life is about giving back. And I feel like I have to continue to give back. Otherwise I'm not going to be happy with what I've earned, you know? And I thought that was really kind of nice to hear that. And I think that is why people love Lake Havasu. It's people.
Yeah.
The people that come here, they're amongst friends. You know, it's not shocking, but it is a very right-leaning community.
Yep.
But no one really tries to swing it that way. Like everyone just wants to take care of each other. And that's boaters in general. Boaters take care of each other. And that is like a thing.
Yeah.
And people know each other by the names of their boats, not even their real personal name, right? And what's your boat name?
Sure,
that's your boat? Gotcha.
Yeah.
You know? But in reality, boaters, they love to help each other and take care of each other. Yep. And so you just kind of have this community of people that are always watching over each other's backs, you know? And the other thing too, is it's safe.
It's
so safe. I leave my doors open all the time and unlocked. I hope nobody knows where I live, but you know.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, I'm not going to add my address to this, but I don't think I've locked my door in 24 years of living in Lake Havasu.
It's just, you don't need to, you know.
My truck, I never lock. Yeah. It's just, I find myself leaving Havasu going, oh crap, I need to lock my truck.
Yeah. Yeah. Get into Vegas. I should lock it. I
should probably lock something, but yeah.
And I came from SoCal and I had recently I've been out here full time 2 years. And maybe a little longer, but 2 years really full time. And the first year was really hard. You know, I was so used to all the resources in California.
Sure.
And then going back and forth from Nashville and California since the pandemic. But, you know, you can work around that, you know, and then you realize like, hey, only Vegas is a couple hours away. I can go get everything I need there. And then on top of that, Havasu's kind of like, there's this like little hidden stuff everywhere that you didn't know existed, and it's there.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy gee, so you can actually do really well. And then now, anytime I leave town, and I want to come back so bad. And now I know why people, when they, you know, if they're from here, they leave here, they always come back. There's something very special about this place.
There is. And, you know, kind of touching on that, you know, Havasu is small, unique, it's quaint, but there's literally a business opportunity at every turn. Mm-hmm. Like there's a restaurant that needs to be opened, or there's a, you know, clothing store, or there's a boutique, or, you know, whatever it is. I mean, the city is just desperately waiting for us as, you know, people in the community to do stuff, which is super exciting. What you're doing with Paradyme and the gym, and what we're doing out in the Riviera, we're filling those needs and servicing those
it's that kind of concept. If you build, they'll come. We've been talking about that. It's just the city is ready for the growth. Yeah. There's enough density here. There's enough money here.
Yep.
It's almost like if you build anything new, it's probably going to do well. So I think you're in that growth stage of Havasu that not a lot of people will talk about, but if big, smart institutional guys, they'll see it and go, yeah, you guys are on that growth trajectory. It's just hard when Census Bureau doesn't have good data.
Exactly.
You know, so that's why a lot of the money hasn't really landed here as far as institutional capital. But you have institutional guys that have retired out of the game and are moving here. And that's what no one talks about. Yep. It's the guys that played in the institutional world and that retired and moved here. So in my opinion, those are the smart guys.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that saw where the world's going. They were the ones that helped fund where the world was going. Yep. And now they're retiring out and going, you know what? I love Havasu, but they're also looking at making sure they retain their wealth. All of these houses are going to go to their kids or some 100%. Level. So they're going to go, all right, well, if I'm retaining, you know, so those are the guys that you want to get to know, meaning talk to me about all the, you know, bullets that have been fired in your whole life. And why did you end up choosing Havasu? And they're going to tell you all the things that they've had to go through to build the empire that they built. Yep. And how family's number one, and they love the Lord, and the list kind of goes on. Yep. And they're like, but I have chosen here because I feel safe here. I like where this is going. Yep. I have all the amenities. I'm a boater. But my cost of living, taxes, like the list goes on.
There's a lot of positive.
Like, don't underestimate how many smart people are coming here. And that just eventually will just pollinate onto all the businesses. It's just the way it goes.
Well, there's a lot of people that have been coming out here for 20, 30 years that have been in the trenches, building businesses, building their wealth, but they've been coming here playing, you know, occasionally with their families. And now that they're retiring, they're selling their companies, they, you know, doing their second phase of life, right? And they're like, man, we've always had great memories in Lake Havasu. let's go back. Let's go check and let's invest in Havasu a little bit deeper than just a weekend crash pad. Now let's build something, a legacy home for, my wife and I and my kids and grandkids. And that's what we're building for, is we're building for these gentlemen, their families that, their kids and their grandkids. I mean, they're specific homes. I mean, large storage in the houses for all the toys and all the fun. And then, all the bedrooms and stuff like that are all appointed, they're en suites, so everybody can come as a family, gather under one roof, be comfortable, and then go out and play for the day and just come back, and then just come back to the sanctuary.
And that community, you just take the golf cart to the marina.
Yeah, you jump in your golf cart, you're in, the boat's in the marina. It's, it's sitting there, you're ready to go. The marina and the developer are working together to create more concierge type services with on-site storage and, boat service and detailing. And, if you call down, say, hey, I want my boat in the water, on Saturday morning, ice chest full.
Yep.
You go down, it's filled, you put it back at the end of the day alongside the dock, and
keep it clean.
Yeah, the surface guys pull it out of the water and put it back in storage for you.
And they got fuel, food, all that's already there.
Everything's right there. They're getting ready to open or build a waterfront restaurant right at the marina there, which will be another kind of boating destination on the lake, right? For people from the north or the south come up to the Riviera and
kind of kick back and enjoy.
Out. Yeah.
And that's going to be a cool site too.
It'll be great.
You'll have 180-degree view there too.
Oh, that'll be probably one of the top wedding spots in all of Arizona.
That's actually a good way to put it. I can totally see that too, for sure.
You stand out on the point of where this restaurant is, and literally you're looking up and down the lake like you're standing in the middle of the lake. It's incredible.
What is your favorite home that you built out here so far?
My wife would say it was our house, but my favorite home that I've built to this point is a home for a client out of California. Just architecturally, this house was challenging, and then the owner and their designer had some incredibly complex details that they wanted to implement in the house, which for me as a creative guy and always liking to take on a challenge, they just brought some really cool stuff to the table. Huge cantilevered island, pull-up bar area, all out of walnut. Their fireplace was just, very three-dimensional with millwork and granite and all this stuff. It was just very, very cool.
It's hard to explain it.
It is.
You have to see it.
You'd have to see it to believe it, and it's, we were actually just at the house tonight doing a full photo shoot on this house. So we'll be releasing
so that's that one?
Yeah,
right.
We'll be releasing that house on our social media sites and stuff like that, just to get, awareness to what we're doing. So
I love it. Well, Scott, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Just appreciate the opportunity, and obviously, I think we're gonna have a bright future together.
Oh yeah, man, I love it. I know we're already talking about stuff that people are gonna go. I know they're gonna do something. If they're on the podcast, they're gonna figure out a way to do some business together. Right for those of you that want to, kind of reach out to you and get to know you, what's the best way to reach you? Website.
We have a website, Mountain Desert, www.mountaindesert, and you can always email me at scott@mountaindesert.net. And Mountain Desert was, I'm sure you probably put the two and two together. We came from the mountains and now we're in the desert, so that's how.
I was actually just about to ask you that. That makes sense. Got it.
It was actually Scott Ward Custom Homes up in Utah, and then when we moved down to Arizona, I'm like, I don't want to use my name. So we were like, we came from the mountains and now we're in the desert. So it's Mountain Desert Development. I
love it. Well, so what we'll do too is we'll add, your contact information all to the podcast and all the marketing material too. So thanks for joining me, buddy. I'm really glad you came.
Really appreciate it.
What time is it right now? I think it's 9:00 and we're still shooting PM. I love it. That's great.
Work never stops. Baby.
Never does. So thank you guys for watching and listening. I really appreciate it. And on to the next.